Here's what I'm gathering from this song. I could use some 7 and 7 on a breaking news day like today, and somebody needs to call a doctor. Make sure his last name is not Bentley, okay?
All right.
Welcome back to Yellow
Dare
Hammer Radio.
I ask what 7 and 7 is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on.
You really don't know that? Come on. Okay, she doesn't know. It's an
Seagram
honest,
7
fair
and
question.
7 Up.
Yeah. You make Seagram 7 and 7 Up. 7 and 7.
Seagram.
You make 14. It's a great drink.
Okay. All right. 7 Up.
I've
7
even
Up
heard people,
factors into-
7
okay.
and 7. You take Seagram 7, mix it with 7 Up. It's a wonderful adult beverage. You got to be over the age of 21. Don't consume it while you're driving. But it's
Boy,
really
I
good.
know I sound like a teenager. I'm really
no,
not.
teetotaler, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
It's fine.
Teetotaler, not a teenager.
And then so I've had friends that say, hey, let's make a 14. And you know what that means.
Oh,
Say
yeah.
7 and 7. Let's have a 14. Or you go to a barkeep and say, I'm on a 14. And they know you want 7 and 7.
So what's the point of saying 7 and 7 if you're just going to go 14? I mean, just
Because
add-
it's Seagram 7 and 7 Up.
Okay, so you can do it either way. 7 and 7.
7
or
and
14.
7 is probably the preferred method to say it, but some people say a 14 and people get what you need. They know what you
All
mean.
right, fine. Okay.
But on a day like today, I could use one of those. It's a crazy news day. Just a crazy news day. So here's what we now understand. After our crack research department here at Yellowhammer Radio has went down the hall and spoken with
Michael
Old
Hart.
Spice,
Yep.
hashtag Old Spice, one of the best talk shows in Birmingham, Michael Hart. And Michael has given some insight to you, Dave.
Yes, he said that when they run this time, they will have to rerun in 18. They are just filling the seat, and then they have to run for the 6-year term.
Now, could it be safe to say that if we go through all the effort of a re-election, special election,
Mm-hmm.
and a campaign, that it's almost a presumption that people are just going to turn around, and if they put him in the first time, they're just going to put him in the second?
Never. Never in politics should you say it's predetermined, ever, because things can change. You do realize the first 2 years of Luther Strange's term in the U.S. Senate is going to be spent campaigning. What can he accomplish while he's campaigning? Not a darn thing.
Well, me and you were talking outside, and I told you, earlier you said there was 75% chance he won't get it.
Yes.
But now that I know that, I think it goes down to 50-50 because it's 50% chance that he will get it and a 50% chance he won't get it.
Because other candidates will not be as likely to want to spend money to run against him in the special when they're going to save their war chest for the general.
Exactly.
That's good insight, Dave.
Yeah, but at the same time, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm trying to think like a voter. A voter, the battle is now. The battle now for who you want to represent you is now as of today because of the governor. So if the battle is now, I want to win it, get my guy in, and then just keep him on.
Okay, that's also good insight from both of you. Let me address that. Andrea's point, I'm gonna side with Andrea a little bit more on this, Dave. That's very bright. That's very smart. But I think Andrea's point here being that people are let's pick our guy now and we're gonna reelect him in 18 because of Dr. Bentley and the black cloud that now surrounds Luther Strange by being appointed. I think it's going to make it easier for some of those candidates to run with less money. It's going to take less money to now beat Luther Strange because people are still so ticked off by the fact he was appointed by Dr. Bentley and it looks shady, it looks dirty.
Not to mention, Scott,
They're not going to need a lot of money.
You can't go far into thinking that Bentley's idea was the very same thing. Let's appoint this person, whoever it is, and then they will be ushered in just by way of ease. The voters will just go with what's the easiest route, the path of least resistance, and so on. But now the voter, because of Bentley having this scandal attached, they want to go against him and all that he stands for.
Okay, so now that brings it up to 60-40.
Yeah.
Okay.
So both of those are great ways to look at it. Either one of you could be right. Dave, I mean, that's spot
what
on,
I'm saying?
Dave.
But
Andrea, that's
once
spot
she
on.
Once she said that, it made me think, okay, now it's 60-40.
Yeah.
Instead of 75-25 or 50-50.
I still don't think it looks well. I think you could take an outsider, you could take a former politician that maybe hosts a talk radio show now that people love, could announce they're going to run.
Anytime now, right?
And that person doesn't want to run. Let's be fair. He loves doing what he's doing. He served the people, and he's done his thing. I don't want to put pressure on someone that, as of right now, I don't think he wants to run.
But then again, if some people out there just need a little encouragement, a little boost, more morale boost, that there are people behind him that believe in him, then it's okay to put that out there.
Trust me, I'll pray for him every day.
If he's ever
Good
wanted to
for
go,
you,
I will
Dave.
just say this, and I'll leave it at that because I'm not going to pressure a colleague to do something that they don't feel called to do right now. But I will say this:
It's a moment of support. That's what it is.
that's
not
all. That's
pressure.
all it is. Well, I think Dave laying hands on him and praying was a little bit of pressure
No,
this
no,
morning.
that
Let's
was-
just be honest.
That was divine intervention. Okay.
Let's be honest. If there's ever been a chance for our friend Scott to want to run and return to politics, I think now's a golden opportunity for
I do
him.
too.
Now is the golden opportunity because people don't like this black cloud of secrecy. Doesn't mean anything negative happened. I have to be very clear and fair to Luther Strange when I say this. Doesn't mean anything happened, but it sure as heck looks like something went down. The perception is everything. No matter how innocent this guy is, no matter how pure, no matter how white and clean, it doesn't matter. It just looks dirty. And because of that, I think there's never been a better opportunity for someone that wants a Senate seat in this state that has a little bit of political or a lot of political knowledge.
And it's never been a better opportunity, Scott, for those who want to support someone like that to just voice their support or their donations or
Now-
their backing, their backing
But
up
I can
of him.
also shut all of this down right out of the gate, too. Let's not forget, Scott Beeson was endorsing and supporting Robert Bentley at one point. That's not going to help Scott Beeson's case either, okay? Let's just be clear.
Yeah, but there was a lot of people. Come on, we all thought,
Dave is ready to put $100 down on a wager here. Not really.
whoa,
No,
where'd you
this
get
is
that?
campaign.
Oh, campaign.
Oh, he's ready to
Cam-
donate. He's pulling out
Donate.
his wallet ready.
Okay, I was
good
about to
for
say,
you.
we can't make any
He
wagers
was
here.
listening to me,
Right.
not you. Okay, thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Look, it's crazy. We've got a call to get to from Shane, but before we get to Shane, some breaking news that's coming out. Jim Ziegler says the state of Alabama could auction Wanda's desk on eBay
Okay.
if they find it.
That's
Oh,
one
they
way to
haven't
pay for
found
the
it yet.
election.
Wanda's desk is still missing, ladies and
Do you
gentlemen.
think Bentley went with it with
we
an
could
axe?
put that money
tried to,
towards the general or the election.
try to destroy some evidence. Is there a shattered desk somewhere?
Well, you were out last week, Andrea. You were out last week when Jim Ziegler said that he would make it his mission to find Wanda's desk and reconstruct what happened to it. Direct quote from Jim Ziegler on this program.
All right. Well, first of all, have we found Wanda? Is Wanda okay? Is Wanda doing
Wanda
all right?
is
she in
doing
a safe
okay.
place? Okay.
But if that desk could talk,
Do we need to pay for therapy for Wanda and the things she
Right.
heard?
If
I have a feeling.
that desk could talk. That's the thing. Let's go to Shane on line 1 before we catch a break. Shane, what's on your mind?
Oh, well, so I don't know a whole lot about Luther Strange. I mean, I've heard a few things. I do believe that it was a little – I felt like there was a little bit of unethical activity going on with that appointment by Dr. Robert Bentley. And I believe also that it, as Andrea pointed out a few minutes ago, I believe it's very early and really fresh in a lot of people's minds, and I think that association between the two is going to – the ones that have a real bad taste in their mouth of Mr. Bentley, I think it's going to be hard for them to pull that lever.
I agree.
Now, for me, it's got to be the name. If you've got a name like Luther Strange, I'm sorry, but I'm going to look at you twice. And also, there's another one. What's his name? Young Boozer.
Uh-huh.
Young Boozer, right?
If you introduce me to Young Boozer, I'm sorry, but I'm going to take a hard look at you before
I understand.
step any further.
And that's not a bad thing. People just do that. It's natural when you have a goofy,
That's
funky
right.
name. Or look, Luther Strange is 6'9". I'm 6'7". I can relate to the guy. People look at you kind of funny anyway when you're a giant. People are naturally going to take a second look. It's just the way the human mind works. It just is. It's the way it works.
Right. So if you had a name like Scott Beeson or Big Dave or something like that, I could get behind that.
All right.
I don't know about Luther Strange.
Wow.
or-
Everyone's just endorsing him. Everyone.
Wait a minute, that was an endorsement for me.
Dave, no one wants you to run for Senate, brother. I love you, Dave, but no one wants you to be the senator from
Come on,
Hueytown, man. It's just not going to happen.
Y'all have a good afternoon.
All right,
thanks
Shane,
for the
appreciate
call.
it. So there's a Scott Beeson endorsement as well.
Mm-hmm. We can start thinking.
He
of
has
some
not made
slogans.
any announcement, y'all. You need to know that.
Hey,
Yeah,
Beeson
that's-
and Dave, governor and vice governor.
Vice Governor, yes, Beeson and Dave. Oh, my gosh. Hey, look, you know what, Dave? You know what? You can get on the ticket if you want to, because I've seen the people that are possibly considering it, at the local waffle shop late at night over coffee. I'm thinking about running for. It's easier, honestly, right now to say whose name is not on the list, okay?
Yours.
Mine's not. I'll go ahead and declare right now, I do not plan to run for governor of this state ever.
And I will not be your lieutenant governor, no
Florida-
matter how hard you ask.
I may get involved in politics in the state of Florida later on down the road, but in Alabama right now, I will never run for politics in this state. Not going to happen.
You just want the perks of the beach.
That's exactly right.
Uh-huh.
Exactly right. But in Alabama, not happening.
You just want special seating at the donut hole. I know you.
Oh, now you're talking my language there.
You just
now
want,
you're talking my
you want to
language.
be ushered in quickly and seated within minutes.
Of course. It's been a strange news day here on the program, and unfortunately, we're about to have to take a break. I wish we had time for one more phone call, but unfortunately, we're going to have to take a break. We're going to move on and talk to our pals from Fire Seeds. In our weekly Tuesday conversation, Cord Sachs is not going to be with us today. I believe, I want to say Justin's going to be filling in for him today. And so look forward to talking to him with our pals from Fire Seeds. That's coming up on the program. YellowHammerNews.com. Continue following that because this whole special election thing today is hot and heavy. Keep your radio right here on Superstation 101 for the rest of the day. Andrew McLean and Jessica's coming up with The Line. That's coming up next. They're going to keep chatting about it. Michael Hart's show this afternoon. Oh, my gosh. I don't know how I'm not going to be able to not listen to every single minute of Michael Hart today.
I know.
Soon to be New York Times bestselling author.
Regardless of what color pants he's wearing, he's going to bring it.
Michael Hart could have no pants on, and he's going to bring it
Watch
today.
now.
Okay?
Hey, I knew you had to
Michael
go there.
Hart's show is going to be amazing today. I guarantee you after the special election announcement. It's going to be grand. So we've got that coming up all day long. Keep it on Superstation 101 and YellowHammerNews.com. Continue to follow this whole strange deal because, ladies and gentlemen, it's getting strange.
This is Yellowhammer Radio.
Welcome back to Yellowhammer Radio, Superstation 101 WYDE, coming to you from the callks.com Heating and Air Studios. Time now for our weekly chat with our good friend Cord Sachs, but Cord Sachs isn't here today, so from Fire Seeds, Justin is with us. How's it going, Justin?
Oh, terrific. How are you guys today?
We're great. Andrea and I are thrilled to have you on the program. Now, do us a little favor. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Justin, because we're used to talking with our man Cord.
Yeah, so, man, excited to be here. I am, if Cord is the yin, I am the yang to Fire Seeds. We are obviously today going to be talking a little bit about identity and wiring.
Okay.
I helped Cord start Fire Seeds. I'm the COO, and so we are wired up very differently, but we make a great team. From a team standpoint, and so just dove in with him. Gosh, I guess 5.5 years or so ago, whenever we started the organization. Cord loves just to sell the vision of what we do. And my job is to come alongside him and help execute on that. And so on a day in and day out basis, that's what I do. Love, obviously helping organizations just think for, scale culture. And again, kind of my side of the equation is just very practically how to pull that off. So love doing what we do.
Awesome, Justin. Well, we're glad to have you here. And for those of you that want to know more about Fire Seeds, you can visit them online, fireseeds.com. Justin, we were continuing our chat each and every week with Cord in the past couple of weeks, especially last week. We were having a conversation about identity and wiring. I take it you're going to continue on about some identity and wiring within the human mind, right?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, and just a couple of things, quick reminder. I mean, identity and wiring is just how you have been hardwired by God with certain personality strengths and preferences. There's not necessarily a right or a wrong to it, but it's so valuable to understand at work and at home. And I think when people do, then you can really create a lot of great energy just for teamwork. I mean, I know Cord last week talked about its usage, whether it was in World War II or how understanding wiring can save a marriage and really benefit folks who are trying to lead teams and organizations on a day in and day out basis.
Well, Justin, why is it important for you to understand?
Well, that's a great question. I think there's probably three key reasons that I think about whenever I kind of process why is understanding identity important. Number one, I think if you are a leader, and it doesn't matter if you're at home, whether that's at the office, leadership requires just self-awareness. Emotional intelligence is a pretty big deal these days in the workplace, and I think in order to grow in that, your first step to growing in emotional intelligence is just having self-awareness, and a big part of that is just understanding what energizes you, what brings you energy, how are you wired up. Is it people? Is it tasks? Is it planning? Is it fluidity within the workplace? And I think understanding that is going to help you understand how you are going to react in certain situations, and as a leader, I think understand what roles may be a good fit, especially in the workplace. So I think for me, I've really grown a lot in that. I was originally kind of post-college in college ministry, which was phenomenal in terms of the impact I got to have, but I am not wired to be around people every day. I am very much wired more task-oriented, and so what happened for me is that as I grew in that role and understood kind of more about who I was, I recognized that, the amount of people that I had to be around day in and day out took a ton of energy away from me in those scenarios. So even though I was good with people, I could work 40 hours in a job where I engaged people kind of every single day in almost like a sales type setting, but it felt like I worked 80.
Yeah,
and it
100%.
Understand that. Yeah, but as I grew in self-awareness, it became clear. Oh, wow, that's a wiring thing. That was the energy and the battery thing that related to that. So, leadership growth requires self-awareness. I think too, it's going to help you understand the team you need around you to be successful. I think Cord was pretty smart with that. If you look at our wiring and the way we are looked at on different assessments, we're pretty much opposites. And the neat part is that Cord appreciates my differences. I think I appreciate his differences, and that allows us to work well together. And because we understand that, we don't get frustrated maybe when we think differently about things. It allows us to work well together and really, I think, help Fire Cities be successful.
Right.
And then thirdly, gosh, you guys experience these relationships on a day-to-day basis, but, as Cord and I understand that about each other in a work environment, the same thing can happen in a marriage. If you don't understand your spouse's wiring and their identity and what gives them energy, what may just be a simple personality conflict can turn very quickly into maybe some character accusations or, gosh, we just don't get each other type things. And it's really because you don't understand the differences in wiring. So those are a couple of reasons for me why I think it's a big deal.
It's interesting that you would mention this because just last night I was looking at a report out there that was saying that the majority of CEOs out there are actually introverts, and that they would not necessarily be extroverts as you would expect. And so clearly, knowing how you're wired and what works well with your personality and the different people you're interacting with is critical in getting success. And they went forward even though they knew themselves in order to go forward.
Yeah, and it's interesting there. I would guess the guys and the gals that got to those positions that are introverts began to understand that early about themselves, became pretty self-aware, and were pretty comfortable with that. And therefore, my guess is they began to put people around them and weren't afraid to put people around them that would make the organization more successful because they understood who they were.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I'm a people person, but I'm the biggest introvert in the world. Honestly, I hate people, but I deal with people really well. It's just one of those things. It happens. It's just the way I'm wired.
Yeah, here's the thing, and I know you two got to take the Myers-Briggs assessment, which is a great assessment just kind of for general understanding of kind of what gives you energy, more of an effective assessment. And as I look at those two things, people, kind of one of the first aspects of those is that extrovert-introvert thing. And what people often misunderstand, they think that if someone is an introvert on that scale, it's that they don't have people skills. Well, it's not a people skills test. It's a battery test. It's what gives you energy.
Yeah.
And so there are many introverts who have phenomenal people skills, but if they take a role where they have to be around people all day long, it's just going to drain the battery.
Right. And there are extroverts that love to talk to people but don't necessarily know how best to handle them.
You're right.
That's right. So, yes, I think sometimes people can misunderstand some of these tests for, that person's an extrovert, so they are good with people by nature, or introvert, therefore they're not. And again, I think that's a misunderstanding. It's definitely more of a wiring thing. But again, I thought it was interesting looking at you two as you got to take a couple of these assessments. What was it like for you two taking that Myers-Briggs assessment? What did you learn about yourself?
If I'm being honest, it was painful. it was brutally painful to take this Myers-Briggs assessment. I wanted to argue with the questions. I wanted to expound upon the answers. A simple yes, no, or A or B was just not good enough for me.
Yeah, I found myself judging the questions, arguing with the questions, examining, analyzing the questions, and saying, well, wait, they don't apply to every situation all the time.
Exactly. I'm very analytical, Justin. Very analytical.
Well, the good thing about one of those is that, they've designed them and obviously asked those questions thousands of different times to kind of get to where they are. But what's neat is that, each of you, as you took those, what it does is uncover some pretty instinctive things about who you are. And I think anybody out there who, and again, I don't care if it's just a familial relationship or in the office, it's critical. I would recommend, whether it's a Myers-Briggs test or a DISC assessment, anything where you can go in and begin to understand how people are hardwired. What that's going to allow you to do is to get them in the right seats on the bus, which is absolutely critical if you're going to have an effective team. If someone is a planner versus, again, the introvert-extrovert thing, that's going to make a big difference in terms of is this person a little more operationally wired, or they're more sales-wired? And not even just that, it's like what types of sales? Is this a system-based salesperson, or maybe like a Horde who's a little more organic, just put them in the moment and let them go?
Right.
So I think anyone out there who maybe thinks these things are a little bit hokey or maybe doesn't see the value, I would say, gosh, try to rid your mind of that and really appreciate what these types of assessments can do.
Well, it's very interesting stuff, Justin, and unfortunately we're out of time, but please tell everyone how they can get in touch with Fire Seeds and how you can help them out in their business life, in their work, in their daily life. How do they get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, so check us out at fireseeds.com. That's probably the best place to go. You can see just the different services we offer, from recruiting to leadership development consulting. We've got an online platform called WildSpark as well that helps scale culture and leadership organizations. So fireseeds.com is the best place to go. To check that out. We'd love to hear you guys.
All right, fireseeds.com. Appreciate Justin being on with us. We're back tomorrow. Until next time, never forget where you came from. If so, you might not find your way back home. Bye.
Bye.